So this is my seventh tip on reading the Bible, and that is know the story. The story is, I guess, a little bit like a map. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you're trying to find how to get somewhere, a map is only useful if you know where you are. And it's exactly the same with the Bible and its story. When you're trying to figure out exactly what the passage you're reading means, you can only do that when you know where you are in the story of the whole thing, when you can place it within its context in the narrative of the whole Bible. So how do you go about figuring that out? Well, I think the first way is that you read as much of the Bible as fast as you can. And that, again, might seem like an odd thing to say. You read it really fast, you're probably not going to take in all the detail, but it's as we read it fast that we get to see the bigger picture and we get a grip on the story. And I would say once you've got a grip on the story, is a good time to start diving down into detail and reading it a bit slower and chewing it over. But in order to do that, we need to know the big picture. And one of the good ways to do that is read as much of it as you can, as fast as you can. I would encourage you to read quickly, to read as fast as you're able. Sometimes our Bibles don't help with that. They're covered in little numbers and the print can be quite small and you've got two columns on a page. That can make it challenging. Bible publishers are bringing out Bibles that actually make reading faster easier if you're able to get your hands on one that's got a single column or that's taken the verse numbers out or the chapter numbers out or printed it on normal paper that you'd find a novel printed on. You tend to find these, they're often called reading Bibles, you tend to find they make it easy to read it faster. You might well find an app on your phone is able to do the same thing for you to enable you to read it faster. I would encourage you, if you're keen on doing that, to see if you can get your hands on one of those, because I think it will really help you. And another good way of figuring out the story and getting to grips with it is to read books that tell you the story. There are two books that are particularly good at this, both very short. There's one called God's Big Picture by Vaughan Roberts. You can see a picture of it on the screen at the moment. And there's another called The Bible in 100 Pages by Phil Moore. Again, you can see a picture of it on the screen at the moment. Both of those will help you, both quite short, both quite cheap. If you're keen on kind of just reading what the whole story is, they'll summarise it for you really helpfully. I think the best way to learn the story is to be told it lots of times. And so my intention, I think there's 7 different ways of looking at the story in the Bible. My intention is to make some short videos about them. Might be a little while till I get there, so bear with me. But hopefully if I'm able to do that, those again, they'll help you to understand the story. Because as we learn the story, we're able to orientate ourselves in the Bible and know how it connects together. And that makes reading it significantly simpler.